Today is November 5th. We're on day 2 of the book club. That means we're on pages 12 and 13. Yesterday, we learned about our story, Leila and the Blue Fox. We have 2 stories. We have Leila, a 12-year-old girl, and Miso, a blue fox, going on 2 journeys. At first, they're separate, and then later they come together. Take it away.
没错，所以呢，就像老师刚刚所讲的，我们昨天简单的介绍了一下这本书的故事线，有2条，一条呢是12岁的女孩雷拉，另外一条呢就是一个北极狐，叫做米索的北极狐。开始的时候呢，他们2条故事线好像是分开的，到后来就汇聚在一起。那我们今天呢要介绍，大部分的情况之下呢，我们通常第2天会介绍作者，但是这一次我们要介绍的比较不是作者，而是北极狐这样的生物跟它有关的资讯哦。
All right, and with that, let's hear our story, and we'll come back for paragraph 1.
Leila and the Blue Fox. Leila and the Blue Fox was inspired by a true story. In March 2018, Norwegian scientists put a tracker on a young female Arctic fox to study her behavior. The fox then set off on a 3,506-kilometer journey from Norway to Canada. She completed the journey in just 76 days, running an average of 46 kilometers a day. Arctic foxes are known for their ability to survive in harsh polar conditions. However, no fox had ever been recorded reaching such high speeds and covering such a vast distance before, not to mention the fact that it was done in a short amount of time. For this reason, the scientists first thought there must have been an error in their data. However, as the fox continued to cover similar distances every day, sometimes moving 160 kilometers in a single day, it became clear that their data was accurate. The scientists concluded that this rare type of long-distance travel by Arctic foxes may be caused by climate change. Rising temperatures could lead to a decrease in Arctic foxes due to the reduction of their habitats. Miso, the blue fox in the book, also faces this threat. Leila and the Blue Fox reminds us of the impact that climate change has on the survival of Arctic foxes.
All right, friends, don't forget, always have your pen and write in your magazine. That will help you remember. Paragraph 1. Leila and the Blue Fox was inspired by a true story. So when something is inspired by a true story, that means we have a story that really happened. And now we're going to change some things to make it a different story using this first idea.
没错，所以这里的话，我们第一段第一句话一个关键词叫做 inspire。Inspire was inspired by， 后面接着的是 a true story， 意思就是原本呢它是一个真实的故事，然后它给我们一个灵感，然后我们要写出另外一个故事的版本，好，这样的感觉，所以后面这个写出来的东西呢 was inspired by 这个后面这个真实的故事，所以这边的话，雷拉与蓝狐它告诉我们，故事灵感来自于一个真实故事哦。
So when you hear inspired by a true story, do you ever wonder how much is the true story and how much like the person just made up?
All the time.
Is it 50%, 10%, 90%? I'm always curious.
Yeah.
I wish they would say like when you get a drink and it's like 10%怕果汁.
真的吗？是这样吗？
I want to know like, how much is true story and how much is just sugar and
imagination. Sugar and junk.
I'm just saying that. I'm not saying this story is like nonsense. I'm just saying I wonder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In March 2018, a Norwegian scientist. 不是
好。
All right, our next sentence. In March 2018, Norwegian scientists put a tracker on a young female Arctic fox to study her behavior. So usually they have to catch the animal, they and put it to sleep, then they attach like a little thing on their arm or their leg or their paw, whatever it may be, and then they can watch where it goes.
没错。所以在这里的话呢，我们来看一下这句话说 ，In March 2018，好，是2018年的这个3月的时候呢 ，Norwegian scientists， 好，挪威的这些科学家们 put a tracker， 好，这个 track 这个字我们在前一天我们有看到 tracks， 好 ，the other tracks， 好的 an Arctic fox named Miso， 我们那时候有看到是追踪嘛，所以 a tracker 就是追踪器。好，这些挪威的科学家呢放那个追踪器 on a young female Arctic fox， 好，在这个北极狐的身上，这个北极狐呢是母的北极狐。To study her behavior， 去追踪一下，去研究一下她的行为模式。
Okay, so far so good. Now let's learn something very interesting. The fox then set off on a 3,506-kilometer journey from Norway to Canada. Oh, okay. So you go the top part of the world. That's pretty interesting.When we set off on a journey, that means we begin a journey.
没错，所以这边的话就告诉你说了，居然呢，他放了追踪器之后，发现到一些神奇的现象。The fox then set off。老师刚刚讲到 set off 就是 begin 的意思。好 ，set off on a 3,506-kilometer journey。好，他们居然呢。他就居然很可怕，从这个 Norway to Canada， 从挪威，我去查了一下，他那个时候是在 Svalbard。各位，你听到斯瓦尔巴 Svalbard 挪威那个地方，它最有名的应该是它的全球种子库 Global Sea Vault。
I know this name and I couldn't place it. There we go.
没错，它就是从那么北的地方呢，一路走到 Canada， 一路走到加拿大，然后呢，中间走了都多久呢？它是2000英里，那这边它换算成这个公里的话是3506公里，这么长的一个旅程。
Okay, that's interesting. But there's more. She completed the journey in just 76 days, running an average of 46 kilometers a day. Wow. Now remember, today we say a journey means like a long trip to a place. It's usually not easy. But in the past, a journey meant how far you can go in one day. So we could use two uses here. So she's going, the female Arctic fox is traveling 46 kilometers a day. Did she drive? Right?
没错
Take the bus?
哇，太神奇了哈！所以他这边告诉你说了，这个北极狐呢 completed the journey， 这3506公里的这个旅程，他花了76天。那平均算起来的话，每天要行军多久呢？行军46公里。然后老师就会说，他是搭巴士吗？还是开车呢
？Yeah, we took a taxi, called
Uber. Hello.
That's really fast. Okay, I mean, before I read traveling an average of 46 kilometers a day, that means some days the fox went further. Like, how far do you think a fox could normally go?
所以我们到底一个狐狸，它真的要认真冲刺的话，一天到底可以走多远？这样平均这样算起来46已经很厉害了。后面会看到更恐怖的数字。
All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, let's learn even more in paragraph 2. Hey friends, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 12 and 13, and we're starting paragraph 2. We learned that the fox that inspired Leila and the blue fox would travel really fast. She would travel an average of 46 kilometers a day. That's really fast. Let's continue and learn more. Arctic foxes are known for their ability to survive in harsh polar conditions. Wow, we have some good words here. So survive, we learned in our subtitle. That means to live in difficult situations. And harsh is a very good word. It means difficult. You can also use it for other people and say, oh, that was very harsh. If I tell someone they are being harsh, this is a word that means you are maybe being too rude or too angry, but I don't want them to feel bad. Harsh also can describe the weather. The weather is very harsh, means the weather is not nice.
没错，所以在这里的话 harsh 这个字呢，可以用来形容天气或者这个整个生存条件环境很严苛。或者呢，今天你提到说，某个人对某个人态度 ，don't be too harsh on him， 好，不要对他这么严厉、疾言厉色的那种感觉，也可以用 harsh 这个字来表达。所以，另外我们来看一下这句话的第一段的这一段的这个第一句话，它告诉你说 ，Arctic foxes are known for， 就是指说北极狐呢，大家都知道它是最擅长、最厉害的是什么部分 ？Their ability to survive in harsh polar conditions。Polar 这个字的话是来自于 pole，the North Pole，the South Pole 指的是南极跟北极嘛。那 polar 你一定知道 polar bears 就是北极熊，所以在极区的这种严苛环境下，如何能生存的能力呢？刚好是北极狐大家最为人所知的这种强项。那在这里的话，整句话意思就是这样。
So polar conditions means the North Pole and the South Pole. If we say Arctic conditions, we only mean the north part. Let's continue to our next sentence. However, no fox had ever been recorded reaching such high speeds and covering such a vast distance before, not to mention the fact that it was done in a short amount of time. Like, maybe the fox, like seriously, like hid in the back of a truck, like it was hiding, and the guy, like in a cartoon, the guy would drive. He's just going along. Okay, we do need to look at the sentence and have your pen ready. However, no fox had ever been recorded. We need to underline this. No is your negative, and you can draw like a wangxia jintou, and then had is the affirmative, and you can draw like an up arrow. So, 我们不要说 no fox hadn't ever. That's wrong. We need to say no fox had ever been recorded. 有否定 and then 另外一个 is the affirmative.
没错，所以这里的话，使用的时候特别注意一下 ，No fox had ever been recorded。这个地方我们只需要一个否定，不然复就变得正了哈。这样的话很小心，要使用的时候特别注意。他说，然而呢，之前没有任何的这种狐狸，它有被记录到说，它reaching such high speeds and covering such a vast distance before， 它会跑这么快，然后呢，行经的这个路线居然这么远，这是之前从来没有看过 ，it's unprecedented。完全没有碰过的一个景象。
When something is recorded, it doesn't have to mean like your voice or a movie. It means you write it down because you want to use these numbers later when you study something.
没错，所以在这里的话，后半句就告诉你说 ，not to mention the fact that it was done in a short amount of time， 而且要这么短的时间，76天跑3506公里，这是无法想象的事情。
For this reason, the scientists first thought there must have been an error in their data. It's like, what's going on here? 3,506 kilometers? Yeah, that's wrong.
所以他开始的时候，大家科学家会不相信嘛，说，这应该有点问题吧？我们是不是追踪器出了状况啊？怎么会这样子呢 ？OK， 所以这句话说 ，for this reason， 也因为这样，之前从来没有碰过，然后呢，现在碰到这种数据的时候 ，the scientists first thought。最开始的时候，他觉得说，there must have been an error in their data or data 这个字的话，两种念法都可以。好，就是资料，这个资料肯定应该是出了问题。我顺便说一下 ，there have been an error， 这个 there must have been 在这里的话，如果是用 must have VPP， 是针对过去的事情所做的一个推测，所以那个 have been an error 要特别注意它的使用方式，针对过去事件做推测，觉得说当初一定是怎么回事。好 ，there must have been a mistake or an error， 这个的话是常用的一个句型。
So your data or data, like Anthony said.These are just the facts you recorded, 另外一个字, right? For study. So we can record facts or record data or data. However, as the fox continued to cover similar distances every day, sometimes moving 160 kilometers in a single day, it became clear that their data was accurate. It took an airplane. It went 160 kilometers. Like what? How did it do that?
Yeah, 没错。好，他这边他就告诉你说 ，however， 然而他说，这一定出错了吧？然而呢 ，as the fox continued to cover similar distance every day， 好，他就想说，接下来每一天，其实这个狐狸呢都会跑很远很远的路。如果一天出错也就算了，可是每天都出错也不太可能啊。Sometimes moving 160 kilometers in a single day。我今天要跑跑看，到底有可能跑多快？哇，就一天呢就可以跑160公里，相当于是100 mile 这么长的一个距离。然后呢 ，it became clear that their data was accurate。最后他证明说 ，OK， 我们的资料没有错，这个狐狸真的很能跑。
That's very fast. So when something is accurate, there are no errors in the data, no errors in the recorded facts or data.And maybe they had a cannon. They pulled it as like 160 kilometers.
Wow, 火箭呢
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and let's ponder. Here you go. Here's the comment question of the day, okay? How did the fox travel 160 kilometers a day? So we said car, truck. We said what? It ran really fast. Took a cannon.
火箭。
We took a missile. What else?Tell us in the comments your favorite theory. How did the
hitchhike?
And now who was driving? Was it a person from Norway or was it
I don't know.
Like another fox was driving?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. Tell us your favorite theory and we'll see you in paragraph 3. Friends, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 12 and 13, and we are beginning paragraph 3 and finishing the final part of day 2, our story on Leila and the blue fox. Okay, so we just learned that the fox would travel up to 160 kilometers in a single day, but they averaged 46 kilometers a day. Let's learn more. The scientists concluded, so they made a decision based on their data, right? The scientists concluded that this rare type of long-distance travel by Arctic foxes may be caused by climate change. And there's that important word again.
没错，所以来这边的话，我们来看一下这句话哦。他说呢 ，the scientists， 好，这些科学家呢，最后他说，他会跑这么长、这么远的路，而且在这么短的时间之内跑得这么快。好 ，concluded 这个字就是做结论，做出的结论是什么呢 ？That this rare type of long-distance travel by Arctic foxes may be caused by climate change. 原来罪魁祸首就是气候变迁。它不跑的话，就没有办法生存的情况之下，它只能这样做。所以这种罕见的这种长途跋涉呢，好，这种北极狐的这种长途跋涉呢，也许原因是因为气候变迁所造成的。
Okay, so let's learn how climate change can affect Arctic foxes and cause them to travel these long distances. Rising temperatures could lead to a decrease in Arctic foxes due to the reduction of their habitats. Okay, what does this mean? The temperatures are going up, so they live on the ice, they live in the snow, so there's less ice and less snow. It melts. And Arctic foxes, they have their babies are called pups, P-U-P, like puppy. They have them in small holes in the ground called a den, D-E-N. Because the Arctic foxes can't see the holes in that snow and ice, they can't have their pups in a safe place. The pups are born outside and they won't survive.
原来如此，是为了孩子的关系。很多时候呢，就变成是说，如果是在冰天雪地的这种情况下，他们会挖一些洞，然后这个小只的这种北极狐呢，就会在洞里头这样安然生存。但如果说今天雪都融掉了，他们其实没有办法在外头野地里头呢去生存下来。所以为了这些小北极狐的生存，这个北极狐呢，必须要惜家带眷的就要跑到其他地方，它可以生存的地方。所以你看这边这句话说 rising temperatures， 好，就是不断升高的这种气温上升的这种情况呢 could lead to a decrease in Arctic foxes， 会导致北极狐的数量减少 due to the reduction of their habitats. Habitat 这个字超重要，就是他们的栖息地。因为他们的栖息地慢慢变少了，所以北极狐呢能够生存的这种数量也会慢慢的降低。
That's right. And there is increased pressure from other foxes because the temperatures are going up. Red foxes, like when we think of a fox, we probably think of red foxes. They're bigger than Arctic foxes, and it's not so cold. So now you have more foxes that eat the same food in a smaller space. So everybody's fighting, and these red foxes are bigger. So this is bad for the Arctic foxes.
没有错，所以老师提到说，这个狐狸可能在其他地方还有一些那种 red foxes， 就是那种红狐。你可能有在那个 Zootopia 那个里面有看到这个红狐狸的，它的体型会比这个北极狐要大一点点。那如果说今天他们跑到了红狐的地盘，要跟他们抢食物的时候，那红狐一定会修理他们，所以这个情况对北极狐来说更是非常的不妙。
This is getting really sad. Miso, the blue fox in the book, also faces this threat. And so in the last sentence, we talked about the rising temperatures and the reduction of their habitats. They can't find the holes, the dens to have their pups in.
没错，所以这里的话，这句话告诉你说 Miso, the blue fox in the book, 在我们书里面这个蓝狐，也就是米索呢，also faces this threat.Threat 这个字就是威胁，前面所提到这个威胁呢，事实上我们的这个另外一个主角蓝狐米索他也碰到了这样子的威胁。
That's right. We could just say faces this danger, no O-U-S, right? And don't forget that, 我忘记我要说什么。
好，
开始说完了是。
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.Now, look at the word threat. We have two vowels here, E and A, and we know usually two vowels, we want to say the name of the first vowel, but we don't say threat. EA has kind of more exceptions than other 两个母音在一起的单词. Be careful when you see EA. There are often more irregular pronunciations. Leila and the blue fox reminds us of the impact that climate change has on the survival of Arctic foxes.
好，最后我们来看这句话，他就说了 Leila and the Blue Fox 这本书呢 reminds us 就是能够提醒我们 of the impact， 所以这里的话注意一下 remind somebody of something 这样的使用方式，这个 of 的话帮我把它圈起来，这个介系词很重要，他就说了能够提醒我们 the impact that climate change has on the survival of Arctic foxes， 所以这个气候变迁对于北极狐生存会造成的影响，这本书呢就趁机提醒我们要注意，要去管理气候变迁的问题，不能不重视。
So I remember reading a scientist, and a scientist says it's important that we talk about the cute animals in climate change.
所以说这个科学家呢，就是讲说，事实上我们要去谈气候变迁的话，一定要特别提到这些可爱动物会因为气候变迁而灭亡，而受到威胁，一定要这么做。
That's right. So why do we want to talk about the cute animals? The scientist says actually the really scary part of climate change in the Arctic, not polar bears, not seals, and not foxes.
所以说今天呢，科学家提到说，气候变迁对这些极区动物造成的威胁最大的不是北极熊，也不是海豹，也不是北极狐。
But we want to talk about them. But really, the thing we're worried about are like the algae and the little plants, the molds that live there. If those die, everything else will have big problems. But if you look at a picture of these plants, you look at a picture of this mold, it's ugly. It doesn't look good, and people don't care about saving ugly things. But an Arctic fox is a really beautiful animal. A polar bear is very interesting. And so sometimes we need to focus on those big, beautiful animals to really do the important things and saving those ugly things that everybody needs to survive.
所以在这里的话，其实真正跟我们最切身相关的是 极区的这些藻类啦，或者是一些那种微生物啦、植物等等。可是如果说今天你是说我们拯救这些植物，我们拯救这些藻类，你看一看说，哎呀，这好丑啊，
It's
拯救他们
really
干嘛？可是如果说今天这些东西死了，我们也活不了，所以到后来我们只好找一些北极区的象征物啊，北极狐啦，然后北极熊啊这些可爱的，然后觉得说我们要救他们，因为他们好可爱。
They look like a BT tongue. You don't want save the BT tongue. No one's going to do that. So you need to show an Arctic fox and a polar bear to save everything. And I hope they can.
Yeah， 所以希望能够透过这样的方式，唤起大家对于环保意识的这种重视。
All right. For Enjoy English School, I am Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.